Okay, good morning all. We are back to another class, JSF class. I think in yesterday's class we were able to implement, or rather generate this UI, which has to do with okay, I'm sorry, I've done some kind of some modifications on the UI, and I think it's now looking somehow better than how it was. So this is what we did yesterday, and the aim of today's class is to add in functionalities for this. So where is it? Sorry, let me close everything so I don't confuse myself. Right, this is the best way of doing things. So I know that I'm in the index right now, and this is, yes, when I click on from index, when I click here, it takes me there. So let me call the admin user creation. This is it. So when I click on this, it navigates to this very one. So I think there are some things we need to, this blue something, I think it should be at the body here, so it covers everything, for example. And if you need anything on the, sorry, it was on the container, right?
Yes.
So if you need anything on the container, maybe you can do that later. I've left that, so maybe this should be white or any color you want it, something light. Alright?
Yes.
And not really on the container actually. Let's take it to the either form or somewhere. Yes, either form or something, or panel. I think panel can also do something here, because if you look at it, it's doing something that I think it's not a good design. We're not going to waste our time on the UI actually. Rather, this, if you want to have something at the back of it, you can introduce another panel, so you have two things, one panel and that, so you have too much of designs are actually giving issues to the loading of the system. So now if I click on this, trust me that I have not entered anything. If I entered something here, maybe username, I entered a castle admin, let's see, admin 1 for example. Password, if I now click on register, it won't make complaint for username because something has been entered. So for password, maybe I can see aka plus some things, right? Okay, maybe something is their full name. Let me write my name. Email, let's say let's use one of the emails we're using in our organization, CCLKD. Okay, you should have asked me to magnify. Either magnify or increase the zone here, increase the zone it from here. I think, is it visible now?
Yes.
I think it's okay here. Now, CCLKD 2020@gmail.com. Sorry, I wrote with capital, even though it's case sensitive. See, this is my phone number, 090-6530-6495. So when I click on register, there will be no complaint, but nothing will occur because no functionalities were added for the button. This is asking me to store the credentials, the login credentials. Are we there? So if I click, nothing happens. So what do we do here? Now we need to add functionalities from the what? from the back end. So if you come to the button that says register, this is the button we'll click. You add your functionalities from here, right? From here. So where do you add the functionalities? Come to the structure of the something here. Structure of the project. The project structure from the folder here. You see, this is the UI. That is web pages. All UI things, UI stuff to be written here. So the source packages contains the functionalities. The first thing we do is you come to the what? To the manage bin here, and then you check. Already we have something, I think, here. Yes, this is with regards to the school data capture. So I right click and add a new fresh class, Java class. We call it bin, right? So then I give it name. We want to register admin account creation or admin user account creation. So admin user. You can just say admin user creation. For example, we want to create admin user. So you click on what? Finish. And then it opens to our Java class. This is the Java class. We don't need this. We don't need this. For this, I did not write the name of my PC. You can write something here, but actually we don't need it. If you want to document that, maybe we'll do it later. So this is end of the what? End of the class. So this is where we write our functionalities for insertion of tuples. Alright? The first thing you do here is to introduce your managed bin. You need to make it managed bin. Otherwise you won't see it when you are trying to call the properties of the managed bin from the UI. So you import. When you import, then you see the import here, javax.faces.bin.manage bin. And then the session, the scope. Let's use request scope. Request scope. Alright? So we're done with this. Now next thing is we call the yes, we're going to create method, but before creating methods, let's look into the properties of what we are building. So this is what we have. So first of all, we need this data, username, password. I told you there are ways of doing this, of adding these functionalities. I want to introduce you to the simple, not complex way. So today I'm not going to use model. I'm going to write everything within the managed bin. So maybe by tomorrow we're going to separate it completely and remove the status and getters to the model, and then you be told how you do how you connect the DAO, the managed bin, and the model. So what we needed here is nothing but what enables us to capture this information. Right? We need the username, we need the password, we need the full name, we need the email and phone, right? So let's create a Pojo that does that for us. So the first thing you do is you write in this private what? Private string name. These are things we need. If you do not understand this, actually it will be very hard for you to code to add in functionality. Sorry, not name, username.
Password.
This should be password. Next is what?
Full name.
Full name, thank you. Next, email. Next, phone number.
No, it's a private.
Phone number. And I think that's all, right? So, when you are done with this, you create setters and getters. Because they are private, since there is what we call encapsulation here. Without you creating setters and getters, you can access these variables from a different class or different class or entity, either within or outside the class as it is. Okay, I'm supposed to create it below here. So insert code. You see, informally we teach you how you create setters and getters. We don't have time to be creating setters and getters since it's something that can be generated. So you do that yourself. You just create it. So we're done with that. The next thing is to create a method that will be used for the functionality. So this is going to be public void what? A method. You can introduce admin user, either sign up or something, or creation. Let's see sign up, for example. Then you have it this end of the what? End of the, this is a method. So this is where you begin the actual thing. This is where you start the work of insertion. Okay? So but then, you know, the aim is to insert these tuples into the database, and this is our database. Let me call the model first, and the model is IACASO DB model. This is it. This is the model. Okay, it hasn't finished. Right, this is the model, and it contains only one single table. So let's query it. Use IACASO DB and show what? Tables. So this is what sorry, like I did not spell it correctly. Let's see the databases. There is underscore. That's why it is not pulling. So it has shown this is the table admins. Then we select the content of what? Storage. There is nothing here. So this is where we want to, this is our aim, to populate into this table. Now let's go back to now there's something we need to understand. That whenever you want to communicate with database, you need to create what we call connection. And if I should create connection here, that means in each and every class, class that where I need connection, I have to create connection. So what we do, you come to the DAO and create connection here, and then you extend it. You extend it to anywhere you need it. So let's create something here. You can just say DAO, that is the data access object, as what? As a class name. DAO, right? Then finish. This is also a bin. It's also a bin, a managed bin. So it's a bin, end of the class. So this is where you do your connections. Huh? Okay, this. Alright. So the first thing you do here is to introduce what you're going to be using. We need two things. We need what we call the connection. You can say CN, connection, if you like, or you write CN. This is the name of variable name, and this is from Java .SQL.connection. Then we also need prepared statement. Prepared statement and connection. We have two kinds of statements. We have the prepared statement and the statement itself. This, when I magnify the system, seems not to be okay. Alright, so let's forge ahead. Actually, we need to pay attention with regards to this connection. We need to be very careful, because it's only when we connect correctly that we're able to interact with the database. And these are some things we need to understand. When I create connection in this class, then I'm going to be using it in each and every class by inheritance. So I can introduce a method here. You can say connector method, end of the what? End of the method. Then within here, I do all the needful. The first thing you introduce is the try catch, because you see there's what we call connection string. Look at it here. This is what we call connection string. If you introduce this connection string, it will never allow you to introduce it just barely like that. It has to be within what? To either throw you throw the exception, or you surround it within try catch. That's why if you can just, when you do that, you can just click on this and say surround with try catch statement. So look at how it surrounds it with try catch statement. I don't want you to get confused. You can do this yourself. Just say try. Can you see try catch with dots? Select that one, it will give you the catch itself, right? So if you want to finalize, you can now say finally, like you want to be rinsing here. Okay, so you put in, If you don't know much about try catch, please you search. But this is what we use to in order to catch the exceptions. All right. When there is error, this is what enables you to catch the error. You see the error message goes off. So here you introduce what the problem is here. You can just say E the what. You can just throw it if you like. You can just throw the exception here. You throw E and you're done. You won't have any problem. Then if you do that, you add, you see, this is what you add the throw exception and you're done. You okay. So with this now, this is the first thing you do, because this is what the importance of this is that it loads the what? The driver for you. It loads the what? The JDBC driver. Please, I think we talked about JDBC last time, right? So this is what loads the JDBC driver or J connector driver. And please look up here. Let me zoom again. We are working with MySQL 8. This is the what? This is the connection string for MySQL 8. The JDBC connection string. For who? For MySQL 8. If you are using MySQL 5, you remove the CJ. Come the MySQL, the CJ, the JDBC, the driver. It's for MySQL 8. For MySQL 5 and below 5, you remove the CJ. This is the first thing you need to understand. Next, it's you create the connection. That's what we call the driver manager. You call the driver manager, and then that is the connection. This is the actual commands that create the connection. Please let's look up here. You know, I have something here I call what? CN. I'm supposed to create the SATA and GETA for this CN, even though its connection is not necessary. It's not necessary. It's a global variable here. So here I call the driver manager. This is what this the class that does the connection. Driver manager .get connection. This is a method that calls the connection. So then you need to import the driver manager, the SQL the driver manager, and then please, if you do not put this correctly, it will not work. JDBC.MySQL, you're telling the system that you are using MySQL and using MySQL JDBC, and localhost. Localhost means you are using your own system, that is the server. This is the developer system. If you are connecting to a given server, you call the IP address of the server here. If it is a cloud, they will give you the connection, the server name. If it is a cloud, if it is a LAN, you call the IP address of the LAN, and this 3306 is referring to the port number of the MySQL we are using. This is the what? This is the MySQL server, and the port number is 3306. If you can recall, that's how we have installed it. And this should be the name of the project. I mean the name of the database. So this is where we make an amendment. This is our database name. You copy it and then you bring it in here. Anytime, this is the only thing you need to change. Anytime you are doing this connection, this is the what? The name of the database user, and the root user you're connecting with is root, and the password. This is my password at the local machine. You know, when hosting, I cannot use this password. Very simple password. So you need to supply all that. And I think with this we are done. Okay. So So now this is the connection. If you are able to do this correctly, then the system connect and gives you what you want. Otherwise, it will not give you. So how do we test that the connection is correct? The only thing we do is this. I'm going to print out something here. You know how the execution of program is. It will start executing from the top here, from the lowest line number to the last. So if connection is correct, if the connection is correct, then it will read up to here. If the connection is not, it will not execute these commands. It will stop and execute the catch command, catch block. So let me now write something here and see. Our JDBC connection. Sorry, 1 second. Alright, sorry for the distraction. Or our JDBC connection is done, for example. And if it is not correct, we can do this. We can now say it prints is not done, right? I don't know whether you're understanding what I'm doing. This I'm just trying to test. It's not done plus this E. So it will call everything for you. I'm going to test these two things. So if you are able to see this string, then that means the connection is done. Otherwise, it will pull this. Here, we're not doing anything here. So do nothing. For example, I'm just commenting. So with this now, we can test. So how do we test? We need to call this, we need to extend the class and call this method. So when we call this method anywhere, then it will run and it gives us the result. So please come to the admin user here. This is where we make an extension here. We now say extend down. What is this down? Huh? What is the down? This down, right? That is the class we've just finished working on. So when I say extend, that means I'm inheriting it here. And once I'm able to inherit, then I can use the properties of the class. This is how Java inherits. So I import it, of course. So then it becomes inherited. This is how Java inherits properties and inherits classes. That's what we call inheritance. Part of the OOP principles. Part of the OOP principles. Therefore, the main OOP principles: inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism. What's the fourth one? Abstraction. Abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, and encapsulation. So one of it, this is what we call inheritance. By inheriting, we mean we want to use the properties of one class in another class. So without you reinventing wheel, you don't need to do all this coding in the other class. Maybe you have 1,000 codes within DAO and you want to use it in another class, say admin user. All you need to do is to inherit DAO in the admin user. So the way to inherit is to extend. This extension means inheritance. So class A, that is if class 1 is going to inherit class 2, and then things will come up. So when the inheritance comes in, then I can now at any time call the properties of this class in another class. So the properties here, the first property here, the property I want to call is this connector. So I will now see this dot connector. Can you see it comes up? Had it been there is no what do you call inheritance, it won't. And it will also allow, it should ask you to throw catch or to surround it within try catch or to throw exception. So with this now I can click on that button and make use of whatever. Right? So then I go to the admin user here and I'll call value, not value, action. Alright, so in the action here I'm going to introduce the bin. The manage bin is admin. Can you see it's already here? Admin user, and in it we have a method called what? This method, admin user sign up, right? So I call it dot admin user sign up. Can you see? It's there already. So it's a method. I call it like this. So now when I run my program, it's not that it's going to carry out the functionalities complete. We have not finished, but I want us to understand that the connection is done correctly. Okay, so I click on admin, and here I call any name. I can even call this as a name, and maybe 123 as password, for example. Full name is there written, and CCLKD as our email. When I click on register, what do you expect? All I'm testing is this. If the connection is correct, it will send this to the console. If it is not correct, it will send this to the console. Are we there? Then, and this is the console. We know the console, right? We're testing. Let me clear the console first of all, and let me make it something like this. Then, all right, good. Then I click now. All right. So you see, like there's problem, right? Now look at something here. It says what? Life cycle inbox warning. This, or method creation, whatever. Method not found. Method not found. Manage bin. Sign up. That method is not found. So let's see from here. It says method not found. At what? At 52 to 133. This admin user XML 52.133. I'm trying to trace the problem. Right, method not found, and it gives me what? This is the stack trace. So let's see why the method not found. It says method not found, right? So let's check. This is what we did. I called it with admin user this, and sorry, let me see how I've created it. Okay, I'm supposed not to use capital E. Sorry, please take note. I'm very sorry. Take note, please. Don't use capital letter while creating method. That's why we always try to go by small letters. You know, some of the Java's keywords are case sensitive, even though this is our own identifier, but you don't use capital letter for the method. So that's why it's saying method not found while it is there. Okay, because you see, as I called it, it is having small letter A here, right? And during declaration it's having that. So that's why I told you, whenever you have problem issues, developer should not be afraid of what? Glitches, problems, right? Developer Abdullah from Base University, let me even say it live on the video. Do not be afraid of what? Of what? So I'm going to clear this and click. If you see a problem, an error message, try to debug it. Read through the problem, then I click now. Okay, can you see what does it say? Our connection is done, so we've gotten it, right? So now let's do something here. Let's test problems. Let's create problems ourselves and understand what's happening. All right, come to the down here. Let's tweak it around. Our correct spelling of the JDBC, our correct spelling of database is what? IACASO_what? DB. So let me remove one of the characters here. Is it correct? No. It's not. I remove DV. I remove BV. So let's run it and see. Maybe you understand what I'm talking of now. So what will happen? There is going to be problem at this line, right? Yes. That means this last line will not be executed. Then in a small, but the very time you had issue in one of the blocks, how many blocks do we have here? Try catch, right? This finally is done whether or not these two are okay. So if try fails, it will invoke what? Catch. So let's see something here. If you don't understand this, I'm telling you, you are into problems. So now I saw something, and I call the username, make it whatever I want the password, and I supply all information. When I click this, of course we expect it because we invited this error, right? Because we want to test something. So please let's read through. Let's read through here. Please read it. Our JDBC connection is not done. Sorry, I'm even supposed not to use E here. It's not done, right? Not done. Why? This is what we have written ourselves. But plus E. That E gives you this. Java.sql syntax error exception unknown database. This is the actual problem. It is the what? The actual problem. So I'll add one thing and then we move ahead. Let's try this one again. So now let me bring the DB back. Now come to the MySQL here. The MySQL here. Instead of writing MySQL, let me remove this L. And after this, we're done with this testing. You see, what's happening is it will read this for you. I concatenated E. This E gives you the actual problem. So please, when you are done with your development, do not leave this E. Don't leave it. It could give some kind of information to a potential hacker or something, or somebody like in that nature. So I know some are just looking while others are seeing. So I want to do kind of something here. I want to clear, and then I want to execute. Let me use this username. I'm just filling it because without filling it, there will be this client-side validation and it will run wrong. When I click, so please let's read through. It says our JDBC connection is not done. Java.sql what? Exception. Java.sql SQL exception. You see, it's different from that very one we have erased. No suitable driver found. Because you have tampered with the driver string connections. So this is it. Now I take it back, and then we run it for the third time. Then we begin the real thing now. Now we want to start I want us to see the correct thing. Then we begin the something. This maybe I leave it like this. Not done. Yeah. Turn. I think we've done something here. So let's run the last one and we begin the actual business. I clear this. Okay, let me clear this so we see. This gives you information about what's happening over there. Yeah. While you late, already things had happened. Okay, so for the last one, before we begin, we do this. I can pick any user. When I click on register, now it says our JDBC connection is what? Done. So we okay, right? We're good to go. So back to the normal things. Now come to this is where we're going to start our things here. Okay? So what I want is to insert tuples. So these tuples are we've already created setters and getters for them and all that. So our aim is to do what? Is to insert tuples, these tuples into our database. Is it? From the front end here. So the first thing you do is to introduce the statements you're going to be using. I did not do that, so let me do that now. The first thing I do here, for me to introduce the prepared statement and maybe the result set. You know, we have two statements. We have statement and prepared statement. So we're going to use prepared. You understand what I mean by prepared statement. Private string, private. I shouldn't confuse myself. Yeah, it is. Of course, if you like, you can. These are. We've already done connection. Okay, let me pull this. Prepared statement. Sorry, this is from a local variable something. Since I'm not going to use it anywhere, I can make it public. Sorry, I can make it private and then make use of it. Then when it is private, then I have to make it setters and getters. Okay, but I can just make it like this. I can make use of it this way. Prepared statement. If you like, you can give it specifier and then the result set. The result set. Let's see, arrays. We call it arrays, right? Result set. So please, here, introduce a try catch and throw this E. Throw the E. It will ask you to introduce the okay, it's already there to throw the catch, throw the exception. So within here, you do your work. This is the end of what? End of the catch block, right? Huh? Yes. Guys are just looking. I don't know why. So here, I do the right thing. I do the main thing here. And what do? This is what I do. I call my connection and I write my statements, my queries. The queries I want to make use of. So yes, so I already have a prepared statement that is PS, right? PS equals to this dot get connection. Is it get connection or CN? I think CN. What is there in this? Okay, connector, right? Should be CN. Yes, it's CN. Dot what? Here you're going to make use of what? Prepared, please don't forget, prepared what? Statements. It's a method that enables you to write your queries. Can you see? Java dog not found for this. Okay, you should have does something for they don't have the Java. I'll read it through the Java.SQL connection something. So for the prepared statement, you pick this. Please, let's understand something here. Let me zoom it again. It is CN or capital CN? Let me see how it is here. CN. Okay. So you see the problem here. I did not create setters and getters for this. Sorry. I need to have setters and getters here. I think I mentioned it and I just ignored. Okay. Yes. This is the problem. So please, setters and getters for this CN. So because I'm going to be using it somewhere, all right, in another class. So remove this so it calls it for you. Can you see that get CN? That is the getter for the what? For the CN. That CN is the connection. Dot prepared. I'm sorry. I hope you are not confused. You know, students don't like this saying there's problem here. So please, if you are following me, this is where you write your query. What is the query we want to write? If I ask you to write a query here that inserts this tuples, that inserts something into this tuple, let's do it together. A direct query. Is there no what we're going to write? Insert into? Insert into what? Into table name, right? What is the table name? Admin. Then values, is it? Then what? The first thing is admin ID. This is auto increment. We say no, right? Next, let's say the username here. Let me say this is the username. This is my name. Next, password. Let me make use of just something very simple. 1 2 3 for example. Next, full name, right? Let me write my full name. Next, email, right? CCL KD, there's no dot. CCL KD 2020@gmail.com. One of the mails we use here, right? Next, phone number. It's also a text. 090 65 30 64 95. Next, sorry, before phone number, email. Okay, email is written. Status. So we need to define status here. Status, I want to make it active because in some other times it's going to be not active. So for now it is active. Dates captured. Can we just say now? Is it correct? So let's run this. Now let's check. Is it written? So this is what I want us to do from what we call embedded SQL. Embedded SQL is that we're writing the SQL within what? Within a host language, which is Java. Within any host, any programming language. If you're writing an SQL statement within any programming language, you're writing an what we call embedded what? SQL. So, are we there? Maybe we understand what we're doing now, huh? All right. So what do we do here? The first thing here is that I have to introduce this string status. Status, by default, status is what? Active account, right? Account is active. So you can just say active. By the time somebody does something, we can now say, oh, just say enabled, please, not active. Enabled. When you are under probation, or you under a watch, we now say disable, so you cannot log in. Are we there? So how do we do? So you write that same query command here. Alright? So what you do is introduce this, bring in this into here without the statement terminator. Bring it here. but it's not going to work as this. Okay, it's not going to work as this because it is a prepared statement. So can we write, let me now do it like this. Can we now write the correct query here? Are you with me? Yes. So to write the correct query, you now say insert. I want to be using capital letters for anywhere we have these keywords. Yeah, insert into admins. You have to be very careful with your spelling of table name and all other things. Values, right? Is it? Yes. The first thing here, this is what we call prepared statement, because this is a statement. I wrote it myself because I know what, but this you writing it and pushing it, you host it. You don't know what the user is writing. So you're going to introduce this name Ashir. I wrote it because I was the one writing. I don't know your name. Maybe thousands and millions of people are going to be using the system. So that's why you're going to introduce what we call placeholders. Place what? Holders. So the first placeholder like this. What is this? We have two placeholders. We have the asterisk and what? The question mark. So this is the one we're going to be using here. Question mark is the first placeholder. So now what you do is to count. How many data do you need to be? How many tuples you want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But this one we're going to write some SQL embedded something. So we're not going to write this. So now we need to have 8 of this. Is it 8 I said or what? Yes. 8 plus this now? Yes. So we're going to put in 7. How many?
4.
5. Sorry. 6, right? 7 plus what? Now, this is a function. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright? So, but then, how do we get the data? How do we get the data? So this is what you do. You now say prepare statement.setString. The first data, that's what we call parameter. The first parameter here is what? For this. And what is this from the DB? Null. ID. So you give it null. You can write it there and you can give it here. Null. What is the second one? Thank you. 2, username. Right? So how do you get username from? From the UI, right? From here. Okay? Is it? So this is what you do. Come over here. This is username, right? Now, so you call it down there. You now see what? Username. But then this, you need to define it in the UI. Come to the UI. This is username, right? This is what? Username. So you give value, and you introduce this. You call the admin login manage bin. Then you call what? Username. So when the user supplies it here, it will push it to the bin, and you make use of it in there. Are we there? So this is what you do. So let's do for all here. For all. What is the next? This is password, right? So you're going to say password. Right? What is this? Full name, right? So you're going to introduce what? Full name. What is this?
Email.
Email, thank you. So you're going to introduce what? Email. What about this? Phone number. Then you're going to introduce phone number. And the last one, okay, we're done, right? So let's go back to this. Now let me continue. The next is what? The next parameter. Parameter 3 is password. Password. Parameter 4, you need to be very careful while numbering. Parameter 4 is what? Full name, thank you. Parameter 5, email. Parameter 6, phone number.
6, right 7.
Okay. Thank you. Parameter 6. So we don't. The 7th is not a parameter. Like it's a function, so you don't need to write anything down. Are you sure? Okay, there is status. Thank you. So status, we have defined status here, so you call it here. Status is a local variable. You know, it was showing a blue, a warning section, something here, blue, that it is not being used, and now it is used. It is being used. So the last thing you do is to say now, prepare statement dot execute update, right? Because you are executing, you are inserting execute update. So with this now, your query will get executed here. These are things you need to understand how they are being used, how they are being done. So now when it is executed, if you need a message that says something is done, then you make use of these things. The first thing is external message. This is a kind of redirection, but this you use versus context message. So this now, you can now say something is done down here with this. Of course, you need to import the versus context and the versus context message. So this is where you write. You say what? Well, if it is correct, that means it's successful, right? So you can now say admin user sign up. Success. Then this is the main message. You can now see you have successfully signed up, right? Yes. An admin user, right? And this we don't need it. And this is not going to be theta, rather it's going to be info. So let's run. I think after this there is going to be some things, of course, like validation, server-side validation. You don't allow two people to have same username, things like that. We do that maybe. So why did you come late? I was suspecting that you come early, so you assist those who are not really. But I know, since you know how to do that of SE is something, only the maybe simple connectivity and all that. I'll try to upload the video as possible, as quick as possible. Let me use Abdullah base. Is it 0S? Okay. Base city, base university. Is this a university? But this username is too long. It's just a testing, right? So let me use kind of password here. And full name is, what's your full name? Abdullah Ahmad. You know, let's see, Abdullah at gmail.com. Is this, can you get this? Is it possible? A part of your assignment, search for how validations, email validations are done in JSF. You know, we use regex, regular expressions. This is what we're going to be discussing next class. You know, validations and all that. Phone number, let me use my phone number. Okay, it's already there. So when I click on register, you see something? Then it's asking you if you want to use it. It says what? Admin user sign up success. Okay. You have, okay, this our message is not correct, right? You have to check it. You have successfully signed up. Now let's check from the server. Can you see number 2? Abdullah Ahmed, Bayes University, this, that. Okay, let's check the message then. Let me just say, what is that? Okay, I think it's okay, yeah? Or if you don't want this, you can take it down here so it gives you something. So if you make corrections on the manage bin, you cannot reload. You can't just say reload like this. Even if it reloads, there's going to be problems, likely. Okay, so what you do is to run it again. It's only from the side of UI. If you make corrections from UI part, then you can reload. But if it is from manage bin like this, there is a need for you to run again. You see how fast the system is. When you click, it executes without wasting time. And we're going to optimize it further. Somebody gives me something. Someone gives me the data. Please quickly. Abba who? Abba 2022. Password. Full name? What's the name of Abba? Abba Saleh. Email. Phone number. Huh? Alright? So we click on what? This is asking you whether you want password saved. You know about this, right?
Yes.
To save in the cache of your. So you see, this is the correct thing. Admin user sign up. You have successfully signed up, right? But this should be past tense. You can just see you have successfully registered, for example. So let's run again. What will happen if I click again after clicking for the first time? You know, it's going to store it again.
Yes.
And it's the duplication. That's part of the things we are going to deal with. Validation, server side.
Yes. It's not validation of only validation of what? Email or phone number.
You can use either. You can use anything to validate. Because phone number and emails are actually unique, right? So you can use them to validate.
But name can't.
No, name can't. Welcome, sir. You're welcome. So somebody gives me another thing, the last one.
He's a
No, not only you, another person.
Aliyu.
Ali. Ali as a username. Full name.
Aliu42 at gmail.com.
Aliu42 at Gmail. Phone number. Aliu phone number.
0091
63 42 92. You see, a part of your assignment, you carry out research on validations in JSF, email validations and what? Phone number validations. That is client side, right? Then when I click, please, let's see what happens here. Aliu get populated, right? Aliu what? Aliu Muhammad. So look at something here. Look at, I'm done with the registration and the data still remain. This is another bad design. Don't do this. Whenever you collect something, you clear it. Because when I click on this again, it will register it again. Since there is message here, right? There is message here that says it has done it. So what you do immediately after population, you do what? You remove it. You clear it. And then if I click again, it says it added, right? So let's check again. Can you see something here? Aliu double same information, duplication of row in the table, which is very wrong. So this is what we're going to be dealing with next time: the validations, client side, and